Alright guys, it's been a while since I've made a video. Let's start with something simple. We got the Forbidden Battleground that's running right now. That's October, November 2023. And as you guys can see here, I'm actually bringing you a blast from the past here. Lester is going to help us get this glory clear. And the main reason for that is that goddamn Scorpion. So I'm sure a lot of you cleared this very easily with your decked out SSR teams, but I figured I might as well show that it's still possible to do this with SR teams. Honestly, that Scorpion is probably the most annoying enemy on this map. If you've played around with this map already, then you know why. It's because that thing has like the 5x3 AoE. It gives you a bunch of poison stacks, and if it hits enough things, it's also going to stun you. For glory clears, I think it's still obvious who the MVP usually is. It's Narm. If I buffed up before attacking it, I probably could have just killed it on turn 1 after pulling it in with Lester here. But Narm silences it anyway, so I don't really have to worry about it. So I have Grenier here. He is on his bow master class or whatever. He is not on his SP class if we were wondering. This is just his normal bow master class because I figure I'll go ahead and use the normal SR classes. He is using his extreme magic bow, but more importantly he's using heavy centurions, which have both the attack and defense bonus on counters, so he can hit things back pretty hard. And of course the Scorpion is a cav enemy, so Grenier has no problem finishing it off. Now, the second annoying enemy I'm sure everyone is aware of is this Harpy. On the first turn, he seems to always use Entrapping Net. Now, there's always a bit of RNG involved, so sometimes I think he uses the drawing attack, but like 90% of the time I think he uses the net on the first turn. So that's very convenient, because he's basically just wasting a turn. So you can spend turn 1 killing the Scorpion, and then you spend turn 2 killing the Harpy so it doesn't draw you in. The AoE hurts really bad, especially if you're using a weaker team like I am here. But once you take care of them, the aggressive enemies that you start with are pretty much not a problem after that. I mean, I'm not even really running a healer here and I'm doing just fine. But honestly, in this case, if I really needed a healer, I probably could have just replaced Chris with Almeida and it would work just as well. Chris's main job here, after all, is to kill the undead enemies, and she gives those spattering of random buffs as usual. But Almeida is also Holy Class, so she can Holy Word stuff and do pretty good damage as well. So if any of you watching this are having trouble surviving with your Grenier or whatever, go ahead and bring your Almeida instead of Chris to heal up. Or, of course, you can use Liana if you have her, or whatever other glory healer you have. There's no shortage of them. There's Sissy White, and there is Elma. Now, I do get some preemptive counter activations on Grenier here, but I don't think they were really necessary for anything. Basically just saves me a bit of HP, but he didn't really need them to survive or anything like that. So once the rest of the enemies start chasing you, you just take them out as normal. See, the funny thing about this map is that it is on a desert, so even though a lot of your units are obstructed, it's kind of also the case for the enemy units. I mean, there was a Scorpion who could run on sand, and a lot of the enemies are infantry units. The Redeemer was obviously an infantry, and you got the Skeleton was an infantry, and you got the Ghost, which is flying. But you have two of them which are undead knights, and they're completely obstructed by the terrain here, and that makes things really easy. It makes it so that if you back off a little bit and just like take them one at a time, it's really easy to separate them and take them out. Pretty much the only thing to look out for after that is the Skeleton infantry. He has that passive he always has, which is that if you hit him, he will cause everybody else to take 90% reduced damage. And the Ghost seems to take like 0 physical damage, so you need to bring some kind of magic damage to take him out. Obviously here I have Hein and Chris who can do magic damage. Most people, for a glory clear like this, you'll probably bring like Light of Genesis or whatever. But if you're a newer player or you don't have a lot of glory units, then Hein is perfectly serviceable here. Even without the SP class, he has both Fireball and Lightning, so he always has a skill up to attack with. And Chris, even though I am using Zealots here, she does have magical troops if you want to fall back on that and you need to kill the Ghost. But yeah, this map is pretty simple. Glory is always the PvE king, so I don't have much else to say. I'll bring you guys some other good memes in the strategic clear though. So I'll see you in that one.